shifted during flight. Please ensure you have all of your personal belongings before the plane.
In the last video, my journey stopped in Ireland, but this time, I'm finally continuing toward my real destination. And now, the destination reveal. And as you can see, we crossed the Atlantic Ocean towards Seattle. Yep, I'm going to Seattle. This time, I was flying with Aer Lingus, Ireland's national airline. Aer Lingus actually has a long history dating back to 1936, making it one of Europe's oldest airlines. My first impression? The atmosphere felt calm and comfortable. The moment the airplane left Dublin, it finally hit me. I was really going to America, and somehow, the flight itself felt surprisingly peaceful. Now let's talk about the airplane food, because honestly, it was actually good. And if you travel often, you know airplane food can sometimes be questionable. But Aer Lingus surprised me. The meal was fresh, warm, and honestly, comforting during such a long flight. And then, they served ice cream. I'm not gonna lie, that instantly improved the entire flight experience. Something about eating ice cream while flying above the ocean just feels unreal. The cabin lights were dimmed, people were sleeping, and outside the window, there was nothing but clouds and darkness. And after hours in the air, I finally arrived in the United States, exactly Seattle. It was finally time for the second part of the journey. And honestly, this part felt completely different because now I knew I was crossing the Atlantic. There's something exciting about long-haul international flights. It feels like you're slowly leaving one world and entering another. Somewhere above the Atlantic Ocean, everything felt so quiet. No notifications, no stress, just the sound of the engines and the feeling of traveling towards something completely new. Travel changes your perception of distance. Places that once felt impossibly far away suddenly become real. And after hours in the air, whew, I finally saw America beneath the clouds. And honestly, it felt surreal. Welcome to Seattle. My first impression of Seattle Airport? Huge, but also surprisingly organized. And after such a long flight, everything felt slightly unreal. Like my brain still hadn't fully processed how far I traveled. Well, here we took a shuttle to the car rental. To rent a car, we had to leave the airport and take the shuttle. And honestly, even the roads outside already felt different. Everything looked bigger. The roads, the cars, even the parking lots. And we finally arrived at Fox Rental to pick up the car. And this is not a collaboration. I'm just sharing with you. At this point, exhaustion was starting to hit hard, but at the same time, the excitement was stronger. There is something special about driving for the first time in a completely new country. Not a new country, but a new state. Seattle immediately felt cinematic. The weather, the lights, the atmosphere. It honestly felt like stepping inside a movie. Let's talk about Seattle a little bit. Seattle is located in the state of Washington, in the northwest corner of the United States. The city is surrounded by water, mountains, forests, and nature everywhere. And before becoming the modern city we know today, Seattle started as a small port town a long time ago. But over time, it became one of America's most important cities for trade, technology, music, and aviation. Seattle is also the birthplace of huge companies like Starbucks, Amazon, and Boeing. And interestingly, the very first Starbucks cafe in the world opened right here in Seattle. Seattle feels different from most cities. It's modern but calm, busy but peaceful, and somehow the rain gives the city its own personality. The moment I arrived, I understood why so many movies and TV shows are filmed here. Let me tell you, one thing Seattle is famous for. Did you guess it? Yep, the rain. But honestly, the rain is part of what makes the city beautiful. It gives Seattle this cinematic atmosphere, especially at night when the streets reflect all the city lights. Seattle also has one of the biggest coffee cultures in America. You find cafes literally everywhere, and somehow coffee just tastes better in the rainy weather. What surprised me the most was how relaxed the city feels. Even in downtown Seattle, the energy feels calmer compared to the other major cities in America. It's the kind of place that makes you want to slow down, explore, and just enjoy the atmosphere. And after such a long journey from Morocco, seeing Seattle for the first time felt unreal. It reminded me how huge the world really is and how travel can completely change your perspective. And now it's food time. It's real food. Hot and juicy shrimp. And honestly, these shrimp were incredible. Hot, juicy, flavorful. At that moment, it felt like the perfect ending to a very long travel day. And by the time we finally headed to the hotel, the exhaustion fully hit. But so did the feeling of accomplishment. Thousands of kilometers later, we finally made it to Seattle. I'll see you next time. Bye.